diagram, you remember that when we discussed the star and the delta connection, we said that the line voltage and the phase voltage, they have a certain relationship. For star connection, the line voltages are √3 times the phase voltage, the magnitude. Similarly, the line voltage and the phase voltage, they are not in phase. There is a phase angle difference between line voltage and the phase voltage. And typically the line voltage leads the phase voltage by 30 degrees. That means if you take the line voltage AB and if you take the phase voltage A, then line voltage AB will lead the phase voltage A by 30 degrees. Now look at this. This is a representation where you are seeing an equilateral triangle. This equilateral triangle, the three arms of it are representing the line voltages. Then you take the centroid of the triangle, that's here. This represents the neutral point. Then from here, if you join the three tips of the triangle, then you get three arrows, which are the three phasors. They represent the phase voltages. And if you apply your knowledge of geometry, which you know much better than me, you can easily prove that this black arrow and that magnitude, that length, and this green arrow, which is that equilateral triangle arm, there will be a magnitude relationship of √3. That means this equilateral triangle arm will be √3 times the black arrow. So they are representing the exactly same magnitude relationship of the phase voltage and the line voltage. And similarly, if you see the green arrow and the black arrow, you can see that there is a angle difference. And if you look at this, again, if you apply your geometrical concept, you can see that this angle, what I am showing with the mouse, is actually 30 degrees, which is exactly the same as what is obtained with the phasor diagram and the mathematical relationship. So therefore, this is another way of representing our three-phase system voltage and currents if they are balanced. And typically, we call it voltage triangle of a three-phase system. The voltage triangle of a three-phase system. So this green arrows is the voltage triangle. It's an equilateral triangle. If it is balanced, then again I repeat, the centroid is the neutral, and from centroid to any tip of the triangle is the phase voltage. Now this is the balanced system. I will show you what happens if it is unbalanced, but that comes a little bit later. Before that, I would like to share another screen because that will be how to solve the problems. I think I must give you some idea about how we solve the problems. So I go to the end of it. As I said, don't bother, you will get the note. So look at that problem. Then first I request all of you, you see the example 1, then 3 lines. This is the problem. Just read it once. I am giving you 30 seconds. Read it once. Then I will explain. Okay. Now, what is stated here, that a balanced load of 8 plus J6 ohm per phase, which means this is the impedance of phase. This is a balanced load, therefore the same impedance will be in the 3 phases. By the way, again here I would like to put forward a practical concept. Now, if you put an impedance measuring unit, any meter, it will give you a reading of 10 ohm, so far as the magnitude is concerned. Now, if you look at this impedance, there is a resistance of 8 ohm and an inductive reactance of 6 ohm. Now, take another impedance, which is 8 minus J6. What is the difference? Resistance is 8 ohm, but in minus J6 means it will be a capacitor, capacitive reactance of 6 ohm. Now, if I again measure the impedance magnitude, I will get a 10 ohm. So therefore, here I would like to highlight that if you have the three impedances, 8 plus J6 in all the three phases, it's a balanced load because you are having exactly the same load in all the phases. But if you have 8 plus J6 and 8 minus J6, then apparently all the three phases have 10 ohm impedance. It looks that they are balanced, but they are not because their nature is completely different. One is inductive, the other is capacitive. So once again, my dear students, please remember that these sort of questions are asked in final year interview or even competitive exams, that you are given 3 10 ohm impedance. Is it an impedance balanced three phase? So you must be very clear in your concept that this balanced concept is not based on the magnitude, but it is based on the entire complex representation of the impedance. So please remember this. Now this is the balance load and it is written as it is connected to a three-phase 230-volt supply. Now this is a very interesting statement, by the way. As I said, in any three-phase system, I have the line voltage as well as the phase voltage. So when I say it is a three-phase 230-volt supply, is it line voltage or the phase voltage? Nothing is stated here. Please see. Now it's not a wrong statement because there are certain things in engineering we go by the convention. Again, I repeat, we go by the convention. The convention is that if nothing is stated, it is always the line voltage. So I repeat, if nothing is stated, it is always the line voltage. So this 230 volt will be the line voltage. Then it is stated that find the line current, etc., etc., when the load is star connected as well as the load is delta connected. So here I have written that Z phase, that is the phase impedance, is 8 plus J6. Then we can convert into it polar form. Now I told you earlier that for solving problems, solve always with respect to the phase quantity. Now this 230 volt is line voltage. You cannot divide this line voltage by the phase impedance. It's not possible. So what you do? You calculate phase voltage. For a star system, phase voltage is line voltage by √3. So you get the phase voltage. So now I can calculate the phase current, which is V phase by Z phase. By the way, for all system, whether star, delta, balanced, unbalanced, phase current is always phase voltage by the phase impedance. This is valid in any circuit. So we get the phase current. Since it is star connection, line current and phase currents are same. Then what is the power factor? Of course, it is power factor is always controlled by the impedance. Now you can see that our impedance angle is 36.87 degrees. So power factor will be cosine of that. So it is 0.8. Now again, for the students, I repeat, when you write the answer for power factor, if you write 0.8, in my entire academic career, I have given 50% marks because that means you have not understood. Power factor should always be either lagging or leading. So this is an inductive load, 8 plus J6. So therefore it is 0.8 lag. Now I am seeing on my screen that people are trying to join now. I will not allow them to join. There is a reason I am telling to all of you who are listening. You are in engineering. I mean, let me tell you very clearly, you are not here to become a great scientist. You are here to become an engineer. And in engineering, you have to work in professional life. After 4 years, all of you will be big officers in many major companies. So first thing you have to learn in your life is what is called the professional decorum. Now, this is our duty as a faculty to teach you the professional decorum. And that decorum states that if the class starts at 5:30, you should be there at 5:30. If not, maybe 5:35. Now, somebody trying to join at 5:50 are not allowed to join my class. If you don't want, don't join my class. There is no harm in it. The soft copy you can get, but don't join at 5:50. You have to learn the professional decorum in your life. So power factor is 0.8 lag. Please write either it is lag or lead always when you write power factor. So then what is the P? P stands for active power, if you recall our discussion. So here I have written that expression √3 VLIL cos phi. I can write 3 times the V phase I phase cos phi if the result will be same. Then the VAR, which is called the reactive power, VAR, R stands for reactive. So volt ampere reactive. This is √3 VLIL sin phi. Then volt ampere √3 into VLIL. So you know the VLIL, you put, you get the results. So this is the result for the star connection. Then what is the result for the delta connection? Delta connection states that the line voltage is equal to the phase voltage. So then phase voltage is 230 volt because line voltage is 230 volt. Now phase impedance is not changed. As per the problem statement, phase impedance is this one, Z phase 10 this. So phase current is 230 by 10. So it is 23 amperes. What is line current? In delta connection, line current is √3 times the phase current. So you get the line current. This is 39.8 ampere. Power factor remains same. Why? Because the impedance has not changed. So power factor remains same. That is cosine of 36.87 degree. So therefore P again √3 VLIL cos phi, you get this result. Volt ampere reactive √3 VLIL sin phi, you get the result. Volt ampere √3 VLIL, you get the result. Now you can always ask why I am showing you this this problem. This is a very simple problem, but why I am showing you this? This has a great practical idea from this problem. It is not just a problem. Now you see that three-phase system is same, impedance per phase is same, only the connection is different. One is star, one is delta. Then what has changed? Again, I repeat, impedance is same, three-phase voltage is same, only it is connected either in star or in delta. Look at, important is look at the power. For star, active power was 4.2 kilowatt. For delta, active power is 12.6 kilowatt, 3 times more. The reactive power for star is 3.1 kVAR. For delta, it is 9.5. So again, 3 times more. The volt ampere, similarly, 3 times more. So what does it mean? This is something from the first year you have to understand that why we use 2 different connections. That when we want to handle large amount of power, we use the delta connection, because you see with the same impedance, same voltage, we handle 3 times more power. But wherein the power is less, then we use the star connection. Now you can ask where the power is more or where the power is less. Answer is very simple. That in our distribution side, that means when the power is given to our locality, this is a lower power side because it is only for one locality. But when it is a transmission side, that transmission is done for maybe half of the city. If you go along the Eastern Metropolitan Bypass, just before that Park Circus connector, there is a bridge. Just before that, you look on your left-hand side when you're going towards the Park Circus connector. you will see a big substation. This is Calcutta Electric Supply is one of the biggest substation. They call it Cosba substation. And here is the connection between Calcutta Electric Supply and West Bengal State Electricity Board. Now, West Bengal State Electricity Board lines comes from far away place like Bandel, etc. And they give power to Calcutta Electric Supply at this point. And then Calcutta Electric Supply takes this power and distributes to all the locality. So you can see that when there is a transmission, there is a large amount of power to be transmitted. So therefore, if you look at this problem, definitely it is advantageous if I use the delta connection, because with the same impedance, I will transmit 3 times the more power. Whereas when I distribute it, I will have a much better advantage if I use the star connection. So once again, this problem is not just a problem. It gives you a very clear practical idea that where to use what. Now, second problem I want to show you. Again, I give you 30 seconds. Read example 2. Okay. Now I read again that it is a balanced 3-phase star connected load. It is clearly stated. And the load takes 150 kilowatt. So active power is 150 kilowatt. And it takes a 100 ampere current, but it's a leading current. And the line voltage is 1100 volt, frequency is 50 hertz. The problem is find the circuit constants of the load per phase. So the first point to discuss is what is known as the circuit constant. Now I repeat that circuit constants of an electrical circuit are only 3. That is R, L, and C. That is resistance, inductance, capacitance. So here we are told to find out what are the circuit constants. So first you have to decide, okay, there will be definitely a resistance. But what about inductance or capacitance? Which one is there? So in this problem, clear indication is given that it's a leading current. Therefore, it's a capacitance. So circuit constants means there will be a resistance and there will be a capacitance. So this is the first thing that we make a very clear decision about it. Then how do you solve it? The power is stated to be 150 kilowatt, that is active power. By the way, when in AC circuit, we simply talk about power, it implies it is active power. Any other power, that means reactive power or apparent power, we always tell specifically that it is reactive power. When you say power means active power, that is watts. So it is 150 kilowatt, line voltage is given, line current is given. So I put the formula that power is equal to root 3 VLIL cos phi. So I get cos phi 0.787. And it is stated to be leading because it says takes a leading current of 100 ampere. Now, to determine the phase impedance, I cannot use the line voltage. So I take the phase voltage. Since it is a star connected system already given, star connected load. So it is line voltage by root 3. So I get the value, but it is star. So line current is equal to phase current. So it is 100 ampere. So Z impedance, Z phase is voltage, phase voltage by phase current. So I get the value. Then it is very simple. I know the power factor. I know that R phase will be Z into cos phi. So I get 5 ohm. Then X will be Z into sin phi. So I calculate, I get 3.917 ohm. And I know this is a capacitance. So this X is 1 by 2 pi FC. Frequency is given 50 Hz. So I put into the formula, I get it is 812.6 microfarad. So my circuit constants are 5 ohm resistance, 812.6 microfarad capacitance. That's how we solve the problem. I give you another example. Like the terminals means the line, the three lines. So between any two lines, the voltage is 415 volts. So that means it is the line voltage. And the resistance is 3 ohm. The current in each of the three lines is 100 ampere. It's a balanced load. So it is same. Find the power factor of the load. Find also the resistance and reactance per phase of the load with star and delta connection. That's a very interesting problem, because now it says that between any two terminals, the resistance is 3 ohm. Now I go back to a diagram of a star, then it will be clear to you. See this diagram, it's a star. Take any two terminal, A and B, forget about the lines. Just take A and B. Now if I measure the resistance, what is the resistance you get? That is, it's a series circuit. Here, look at the mouse, it's a series circuit. So it is R phase plus R phase. That means 2 R phase. If it is a delta, is it same? That means if you look at the resistance between A and B, is it same? No. Because here you see between A and B, even if the lines are not there, there is a parallel path. That means if this is R phase between A and B, there is another path here. That means R phase plus R phase of the other two, they are in series, but they are in parallel with this R phase. So R phase parallel with 2 R phase. So when we measure the resistance between any two terminals, in star we get 2 R phase, in delta we get R phase in parallel with 2 R phase. With this knowledge, if you go to that problem, then you see, first take the star connection. Between any two terminals, it is 2 R phase. So it is stated that it is 3 ohm. So it is very clear that resistance per phase is 1.5 ohm. Then line voltage is 415 volt. So phase voltage is line voltage by √3. The line current is stated to be 100 ampere. So phase current is 100 ampere. So phase impedance is equal to phase voltage by phase current. So you get 2.396. Then resistance is 1.5. So you can calculate X, root over Z square minus R square. So you get the X. But you don't know whether it is inductance and capacitance, because power factor is not stated as lagging or leading. So we leave it like that. But what is power factor? R by Z. So it is 0.626. We don't know lag and lead because it is not stated. If it is delta, I told you that this resistance is R phase in parallel with 2 R phase. So you put into the formula. So you get 2 by 3 R phase. Now this is equal to 3. So the R phase is 4.5 ohm. It is delta, therefore phase voltage is equal to line voltage. So 415 volt. Now line current is stated to be 100 ampere. So phase current is line current by √3. So this is the phase current. So phase impedance is phase voltage by phase current. So it is 7.19. So again, in reactance is root over Z square minus R square. And power factor is 0.626. Why? Because we are saying that it is not, impedance is not changing. Then example 4. Again, I give you 30 seconds. Please read the 3 lines. Okay, now I start. It says that 3 star connected impedances, it is given 20 plus J 37.7 ohm per phase, are in parallel with 3 delta connected impedances. Z2 is equal to 30 minus J there. The line voltage is 398 volt. Find the line current, power factor, etc. by the combination. Now this is a very interesting aspect. I think you all know series and parallel. You have done it in your school. Achha, when two impedances or two resistances are in parallel, achha, when they are in parallel, that means when they are
And the
connected
voltage.
across the same two nodes. From the circuit concept of, don't go by the voltage or current magnitude, when they are connected across the same two nodes of a circuit. Now, here I have three nodes of a circuit, N1, N2, N3. Now, in delta, this is how the impedances or resistances are connected. In star, this is how they are connected. Now, what you have in a single phase concept and a three phase concept is slightly different. Now, when I say this delta is in parallel with a star, then how they are connected? This is first thing you have to make it very clear. As I said, now here you cannot apply that concept that they are connected across the same voltage. It is they are connected across the same nodes. That means both these will be connected across N1, N2 and N3. So now just think that this star is in the middle of this triangle connected to N1, N2 and N3. There is something very interesting you will find. That then if you take this R1 in star, they are not, this is not connected across RB. If you just look that star in the middle, if you just imagine. Similarly, R2 will not be in parallel with the other one. That means they are not connected across the same nodes. Individual, I am talking about the individual resistance. So therefore, you cannot apply that parallel formula that R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. That you cannot apply here because they are not connected across the same node, because R3 is connected across N3 and neutral, whereas RA is connected across N3 and N2. So you cannot tell them that they are in parallel. Then how do you solve it? Well, here comes that another knowledge that I told you in my last class, that convert it to either star or delta. Because now if I convert this star to delta, then what happens? I get an equivalent delta of this star. And that equivalent delta, how that will be connected? Of course, between N1, N2 and N3. So therefore, in that case, there will be two impedances parallel between N1 and N2. Similarly, N1, N3, N2 and N3. So this problem can be solved only by star delta conversion. Otherwise, you cannot solve it. Now, next question comes is whether I should convert star to delta or delta to star. Naturally, another question comes. If it is a balanced circuit, you can do either one. That means you can either convert delta to star or star to delta. For example, here the solution is given as delta to star conversion. What has been done? That this delta is converted to its equivalent star. When it is equivalent star, then this neutral is at earth potential. This neutral is also at earth potential. So we can say naturally they are in parallel. So there will be Z2 prime, which is the equivalent of the Z per phase. Then Z1, as you can see, it is given as 20. So then Z1 and this Z2, which is the delta, then we convert it to its equivalent. They are in parallel. So then we use this formula, Z1 into Z2 prime divided by Z1 plus Z2 prime. And then that becomes the phase impedance. You can, of course, you have to do the calculation. Then you take the line voltage. But as I said, never solve using line quantity, convert it to phase voltage. Star connection, so line voltage by √3. Then phase current is phase voltage by phase impedance. What is phase impedance? This calculation, so 68.37. And line current is equal to phase voltage. What is the power factor? This 9.92 degree cosine of that here in the impedance, that will be the power factor. You can solve the same problem by converting this star to delta. You can do it at your home. You will get the same result. The same result means the Z impedance will not be same, but your line current will be same, because otherwise there is no equivalent connection. So you will find ultimately 3.36 ampere should come. So this is the concept of, there are two concepts here. One is how impedances are connected in parallel. There is a quite difference from single phase to three phase, and how we solve by using this star and delta conversion. I will explain it for unbalanced system later. Now there is a direct practical problem, example 5. Again, I give you 30 seconds, read example 5. Good. Now let me read again. A three-phase star-connected alternator. By the way, what is an alternator? This I have to explain. Alternator is an AC generator. You have to remember this because this is the terminology of electrical engineering. It is very important to know the correct terminology, because when you will be later in a meeting and you will see that all other people are talking about alternator, you cannot say it's a generator. Then they will feel that you are not knowledgeable enough. So please know the correct terminology. So it's an alternator. That alternator feeds a 2000 HP delta connected induction motor. Now here I have to ask you one thing, because you are all young students. You must have heard about motor, but as you know that motors can be DC motor, motors can be AC motors. As I said that in our practical life, mostly we deal with AC circuits, hardly DC circuits. So mostly these are AC motors. Have you ever seen an induction motor? Who has seen out of this? I can see 97 people here. Have you seen a induction motor anywhere? If not, I will give you an example. Then you will see this is what is known as to become a real engineer, not just a student of engineering. You have to keep your eyes open. Have you seen in your house the ceiling fan? I think you all have seen. This is an induction motor. Now, if I say that, then can you imagine that at any given instant of time, how many induction motors are running in this world? It is enormous. No? So induction motor is one of the most widely used machine in this world. Please remember. One of the most widely used machine in the world. In fact, two machines are most widely used. That means as far as the number is concerned, it goes into millions or hundreds of millions at any given instant of time. One is this induction motor from electrical engineering. The second example is from the mechanical engineering. That is the IC engines, internal combustion engines. Because all our vehicles, they run on IC engines. So you can understand that at any given instant of time, all over the world, how many million cars are running. So this is, as an engineer, you should always keep your eyes open, exactly what you are dealing with. So this is the practical problem. So this diagram shows that the alternator, that means the AC generator, is a star connected generator. Typically, when we draw the generator, we show it with a coil, we draw the load with a box. This is just a convention, nothing special. So this star connected alternator, the line voltage is 2200, 2.2 kV as shown, is connected to this delta connected induction motor. And they are balanced. It is stated it is balanced. What it is stated is that this motor is of rating 2000 HP. Now please remember, this is mechanical power. 2000 HP is mechanical power. And we have to calculate the current in each alternator phase and motor phase. That means what is the current in the alternator phase? What is the current in the motor phase? Now to know current, first I have to know what is the power. Because I know the voltage and I know the power factor. It is already given in the problem, 0.85 lag, because induction motor has a lagging power factor. So what I have to know? I have to know the power. Now this 2000 HP is a mechanical power. It's not electrical power. So if I take this motor always has an input power and output power. The input power is electrical power, output power is mechanical power. Now this 2000 HP is therefore the output power. From that you cannot calculate directly the current. What you need is the input power, that is the electrical power. For that, the efficiency of the motor is given 93%. So first convert this 2000 HP to its equivalent watt. So multiply it by 746, divide it by the efficiency, you get what is the electrical power. So this amount of power this motor is drawing. Then line voltage is 2200, power factor is 0.5. It is very easy. I get the IL, √3 VLIL cos phi. So the line current is 495.3 ampere. So if I take the alternator, it's a star connected. So line current is equal to phase current. Problem solved. Come to the motor. It's a delta connected system. So the phase current will be line current divided by √3. So motor line current divided by √3. So you know what is the power factor? Of course, 0.5. So power factor angle is 31.79 degree. So if you want, you can represent it in the phasor form with magnitude as well as the angle. So you see, this is how we tackle the problems, practical problems. But now looking at this diagram, I will jump into my next topic. That here we said that the source, the alternator is balanced. We say that the load, the motor is balanced. But here we are talking about only one motor. But if I take an industry, let's say big industry, or I give you a very concrete example. I don't know how many of you have seen, but try to see, at least go and see. A steel mill, somebody who is in Durgapur, go to a steel motor, steel, either it is Alloy Steel Plant, Durgapur Steel Plant, somewhere you go. Fantastic to see. How many motors are running, you will see. And they are all supplied by this three-phase system. So they are all different motors. So all the motors are not of same capacity. So therefore, what happens is that although the source side is balanced, my load side in our power system is hardly balanced. That means we have to solve problems where source is balanced, load is unbalanced. But now how to solve it? Because so far we have not dealt with that. So now I will go to that topic, that source balanced, load unbalanced. And when I say load unbalanced, there I have to take star connection as well as delta connection separately because they behave differently. So I will go to that and I will show you. Okay, so now I have opened this file that is unbalanced three-phase loads with the implicit understanding that the source is balanced. So first I am taking unbalanced delta load. Why I am saying? Because it is easiest to solve. So I am starting with unbalanced delta loads. And these particular cases, all the unbalanced cases, I will always explain with an example because otherwise I have found in my life that it is very difficult for the students to understand theoretically. I should give you example and theory you can learn. You are intelligent enough, you can learn. So here is a problem. Look at the problem, then I will again start. So another 30 seconds to read the 3 lines. Read it. Good. Now I read it. A 3-phase 440 volt delta connected load has the following impedances. By the way, in balanced 3-phase system, we always written Z phase because all the 3 impedances were same. I cannot do that in unbalanced system because they are all different. So here you can see all are written as ZAB That means this is the impedance between A and B. Then ZBC, this is the impedance between B and C. Then ZCA, it is the impedance between C and A. Don't bother about the figure number because this is taken from my another note. So that's why figure number is different. Now, so this is the delta load as given in the problem. And it is stated it's a three-phase 440 volt system. Again, I have told you that unless otherwise specified, this 440 volt will be the line voltage. So here I have seen, and I have told you that the source is balanced. Therefore, I have shown here the three line voltages to be same. So you can see three line voltages are same, but three impedances are different. So therefore, how do I calculate? Now, fortunately, in this case, it is very easy because the source is balanced. So therefore, I can always say that the three voltages will have a phase angle difference of 120 degree. Therefore, first, again, I repeat, please remember in your coursework that for unbalanced system, first and foremost is you have to write down the three voltage expressions. How? That is by writing the magnitude and the phase angle. So here you can see I have written VAB 440 angle 0 degree, VBC 440 angle minus 120, VCA 440 angle minus 240. Here something was missing in the problem. If you recall our last discussion, there was something called a phase sequence. Because without the phase sequence, we cannot write these angles. But normally, when nothing is specified, the phase sequence is always either we write it ABC or we say radial oblique. So in this problem, phase sequence is not given, so we take it as ABC. So AB is 0 degree, that is our reference. BC having minus 120, then CA will be having minus 240. This is quite obvious because the source is balanced. So I can write this without asking anybody. Then what is the voltage across this 5 angle 40 degree? You can see between A and B, that is VAB. So IAB is straight away VAB by ZAB. As I said, because VAB is also the phase voltage. So phase voltage by phase impedance. Straight away you get IAB. Similarly, you have the VBC. So VBC is here. Then divided by ZBC, that is IBC. Similarly, VCA is this, as you know, as you can see here, VCA is here. So divided by ZCA, this is the current. So what I get is the three currents, IAB, IBC, ICA. Now IAB is the current here, IBC is the current here, ICA is the current here. Then what is the line current? Very simple, right? What? Because look at the terminal A. By the way, these currents are in the cyclic order. That means AB is from A to B or A to B. Then BC is from B to C. CA is from C to A. Looking at the terminal node A, apply Kirchhoff's current law. Then what is the current IA? Of course, it is a load. So IA is from left to right. Then AB from A to B, CA from C to A. It is quite obviously IAB minus ICA. Similarly, if you look at node B, it will be IBC minus IAB. So just apply Kirchhoff's current law and you get the three line currents. And here if you see that the line currents are all different. So that means if I put 3 ammeters in these 3 lines, that means I told you that many times these impedances are not visible because they are somewhere in a big industry, they were somewhere. In a big locality, they are all inside the houses. So you don't see these loads. What you see is the current and voltages, but you can measure by putting voltmeters, ammeters, power meters, etc. So if I put 3 ammeters, then you get the 3 currents, but they are all different. That's why by measuring the currents, I can tell that this is an unbalanced load. Right? This is how we engineers identify whether it is unbalanced, whether it is balanced, like that. Now, once this delta is the easiest to solve, any delta circuit you solve in this way, absolutely no problem. When it comes to a star connected load, we have already discussed that star has two different connections. One is star with neutral, that is 4-wire star. Another is 3-wire star. First, I start with 4-wire star, where the neutral is there with one assumption, that the neutral has zero impedance. It's an absolutely useless assumption because a neutral wire cannot have zero impedance, but for solution, I am assuming neutral impedance is zero. So again, I show you a problem. Just read these 3 lines again. Problem. Okay, let us see what is the problem. A 3-phase 400 volt 4-wire system has the following load impedances. So I have ZA, ZB, ZC. So impedances are given, very clear. Calculate the line currents and the neutral current for 2 different phase sequences. This is a very interesting problem. Again, go through it very carefully. All these problems, they give always some practical hints to you. These are not just numerical problems. So how I start this? It is a 4-wire system. So neutral of the source and the neutral of the load is connected. And I am assuming that the neutral impedance is 0. Now, what is the practical significance of that? That means even if there is a neutral current, there is no voltage drop in the neutral, which means that the source neutral and the load neutral will have the same voltage because no voltage drop. As I said, this is an impractical assumption, but still that is what we are assuming. Now, source is balanced. Therefore, source neutral is at arc potential, that is 0. Therefore, load neutral also will have 0 potential because source and load neutrals are electrically connected. Then source voltages are given 400 volt line voltage. So phase voltage is 400 by root 3. So therefore, I can say that at the load side, the voltage between the terminal A and the neutral is same as the voltage between terminal A and neutral of the source because both are connected. Similarly for terminal B and terminal C. So what we are saying here, now come to the problem solving. This is first I am assuming phase sequence ABC. What I am doing, as you see, the phase voltage magnitude is 231 volt. So assuming ABC phase sequence, I am saying VA is 231 with an angle 0 degree. VB is 231 with an angle minus 120. VC is 231 with an angle minus 240. As I said that any 3-phase problem solution start by writing the 3 voltages if you are knowing that. Then what are the 3 phase currents? Straight away phase voltage by phase impedance. Now phase impedances are known. It is given in the problem itself, ZS, ZB and ZC. So you take VA by ZA, VB by ZB, VC by ZC. So you get IA, IB, IC. Now you add these 3. Interesting result you get. It is 0. Now, my dear friends, here is a very interesting question I raise to you. If somebody says that by a very simple measurement in a star system, can you tell me that whether it is a balanced or unbalanced? I have seen 90% students answering that if the neutral current is 0, it is balanced. It's wrong. Because you can see from this example that the three impedances here, ZA, ZB, ZC are different. Voltages are same, they are balanced, but the neutral current is 0. That means even for an unbalanced impedance, your neutral current can be 0. So these are the very salient features, very important aspects of unbalanced system to learn. That this is called the fundamentals of the three-phase circuit. And I am always proud that these were so meticulously taught to us, and that's why Jadavpur engineers are always excellent engineers. There are certain things which has to be very specifically pointed out, that this is what happens in a practical circuit. So please don't say that neutral current 0 means it's a balanced load. And then I can calculate the different three-phase powers. Of course, every phase power will be calculated as phase voltage, phase current, and the phase power factor. How do you get the phase power factor? From the impedance. So A phase power factor will be cos of 60 degree. B phase power factor will be cos of 0 degree. Look at the mouse. C phase power factor will be again cos of 60 degree. So you get the power. What happens if it is a delta connected system? Here, I write the three voltages, then phase voltage by phase current, by the way, sorry, not delta connected system, it is ACB phase sequence. I am sorry. The phase sequence is now ACB. This is ABC. So look at the voltages. A is 0 degree, B is minus 120, C is minus 240. What happens? It is ACB. What is changed? A is never changed. That is the reference. Change occurs between B and C. B becomes minus 240, C becomes minus 120. Because their two phasors are interchanged, if you remember the earlier phasor diagram. So VA is 0 degree, VB is minus 240, VC is minus 120. So once again, you do V phase by Z phase, you get the current. Then IB, again, phase voltage by phase current, IC, phase voltage by phase current. And then neutral current, you add these three and you see the change. It's almost 70 ampere. What about the power? 2668. Active power remains 2668 for A phase. B phase 10672, 10672. C phase 2668, 2668. So that means power has not changed because the impedance has not changed. That's why power has not changed. But the neutral current. So now try to understand again. This is why I am showing you all these problems. That same impedances, same voltage, everything same connection. Just by changing the phase sequence, that means ABC or ACB, what a remarkable change has occurred in the neutral current. See, the phase currents you have seen, 23 ampere, 46 ampere, 23 ampere. Here also 23 ampere, 46 ampere, 23 ampere. But in one case, neutral current is 0. Another case, neutral current is 69.3 ampere, which is almost 3 times the phase current. So can you understand the importance of phase sequence? This is what is so important to understand, that how big role the phase sequence plays in our life. Now, by the way, that what happens, or rather, how do we change the phase sequence in their practical life? Because please remember that what we have are the 3 lines coming. One line is red, one line is yellow, another line is blue. And I have a motor. Then how the phase sequence is changed? That is very simple. See, you take the R phase of the motor and R phase of the line and connect them. Then B phase of the motor and the B phase of the line, connect them. C phase of the motor, C phase of the line, connect them. Then you have a phase sequence ABC connection. Now you do just simply interchange the two terminals. That means B phase of the motor is connected to the C phase of the line. C phase of the motor is connected to the B phase of the line. Just interchange the lines. Your phase sequence is reversed. Then the motor is running on ACB phase sequence. Because it all depends on the which source is connected to which terminal. So this is how in practice we do it. And if we make a mistake in properly connecting the three phases, then you have this big problem that where normally you are expecting almost zero current in the neutral, there you can expect as high as 3 times the phase current, and that could be a disaster for any I mean, if it is a practical power system, it will be a major problem.
Sir,
Yes.
VL আর V ফেজের যে রিলেশনশিপটা আছে, V ফেজ ইকুয়াল টু VL বাই √3, সেটা ব্যালেন্সড, যতক্ষণ সোর্সটা ব্যালেন্স থাকবে ততক্ষণ ইউজ করা যাবে, মানে লোডের ব্যালেন্সের উপর ডিপেন্ডেন্ট হয়। ওকে স্যার,
If the source is balanced, you can use it.
ওকে স্যার।
স্যার আগের এক্সাম্পলটা একটুখানি জান প্লিজ।
কোন জায়গাটায়? Please tell me exactly which one you want to know.
স্যার এই পাওয়ার ফ্যাক্টরে পাওয়ার যেখানে ক্যালকুলেশন করলেন, হ্যাঁ স্যার, এই যে cos 60 cos -240 + 240 এই জায়গাটা ঠিক বুঝলাম না স্যার।
That was actually my reading. See, how do you find out the phase difference between voltage and current? This is VB. You can see here, right? Then IB you can see here. So what is the phase difference between VB and IB? Take -240, then minus of -240.
Oh, okay.
Similarly, you can see this. That is what I have written, right? θ1 minus θ2. Just concept is very simple. This voltage angle is θ1, current angle is θ2. So θ1 minus θ2. But remember that every problem you can solve.
Okay, sir.
Confusion is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because now I will go into a much more complicated problem. That is, now if I go for a 3-wire star connection, a real big problem. So once again, I show you a problem. Just look at this. First read the problem, 30 seconds. Okay. Now let us see. What is stated? 3 impedances. ZA, ZB, ZC. And it's a 3-wire, 3-phase, 400-volt system. That means line voltage is 400 volt. Again, repeatedly I am telling that if nothing stated, this voltage is line voltage. Calculate the phase current and the phase voltage of the load, not the source, voltage of the load. But first point, ZA, ZB, ZC, they are all 5 ohm. Then why I am saying it's an unbalanced load? Because of the angle. Because ZA is 5 angle 0 degree. What does it mean? That it's a resistance. There is no reactance here. 5 angle plus 60 degree. What does it mean? It's an R plus L. It's an inductive load. 5 ZC is 5 angle minus 60. What does it mean? It is R minus XC. So it's a capacitive load. So magnitude is all 5 ohm, but they are all different. One is pure resistance, another one is R plus L, another one is R plus C. That's why they are unbalanced. They are not balanced. So this is, again, please remember all these problems I am trying to show you, all these salient features. This problem show you very, very critical features of the three-phase circuit. So now look at this diagram. What is the problem now? I will tell you. You tell me, look at this. Now, I can get the phase voltage because source is balanced. So phase voltage will be line voltage by √3. But can I tell that the voltage between A and the neutral here, that is O prime, that is same as that VL by √3? The answer is no. In a four-wire system, we were saying yes. Why? Because then this O prime was electrically connected to the source neutral because there was a fourth wire. And we were assuming zero neutral impedance, so no voltage drop. So voltage of O prime was equal to the voltage of O. O is the neutral of the source. But here this connection is absent. Therefore, I cannot say that the voltage of O prime is same as that of the voltage of the neutral of the source. And that is the biggest problem in three-wire star because I don't know the phase voltage here. I don't know really. Then how do I solve? Yes, I can solve. One straight answer is, I know that for delta I can solve because delta load is between the AB, BC and CA. These voltages are known because they are connected to the source. So if I convert this star to delta, what will happen? Then one impedance will be between A to B, another between B to C, another between C to A. And then I can always say that they are having these line voltages. So therefore, I can solve this problem by converting the star to delta. So therefore, what I write here is, I write the three line voltages with the phase sequence ABC. And then I convert this star to delta. You know the star delta conversion formula, probably you have been already told. So apply that formula. You calculate, that means from the three ZA, ZB, ZC, then ZAB is typically ZA plus ZB plus ZA, ZB by ZC. ZBC will be ZB plus ZC plus ZB, ZC by ZA. Like that, convert all of them and you get the three delta impedances. Since the three star impedances were same, interestingly you see that the three delta impedances you got same 10 ohm. What has happened is ZA, you see ZA was 0 degree, but here ZAB is not 0 degree, it is 60 degrees. So the angles have changed. But that doesn't matter. So what I do is the Z delta phase currents I can find. That means the line voltage is equal to phase voltage. Then this is the ZAB here, ZAB divided. This is IAB. Similarly, IBC is ZBC by here ZBC here. Get it? Then ICA, so VCA divided by here ZCA and get it. So three delta phase currents are known. And we also know that line current in delta is simply IAB minus ICA, then IBC minus IAB. So I know this, I take the difference, I get the line current. Problem solved. So I solved this three-wire star by converting this star to delta and then calculating everything from the delta side, and I know these line currents. And once I know the line current, by the way, I think you know that this phase current will be equal to the line current. So I can always say what will be the star phase current. Then what will be the star phase voltage? That will be this impedance multiplied by this current. That means, look at here, this is IA. IA is 69.3 angle minus 30. So if I ask you what will be the voltage VAO prime, that will be IA multiplied by 5 angle 0 degree. It's known. What is VO prime? IB multiplied by 5 angle 60 degree. Then IC0 O prime, IC multiplied by 5 angle minus 60 degree. When you do that, now there is something very interesting, because if I calculate the three voltages, they are not same. So now I go back to the first slide that I showed you, or the first file. I showed you that it's a voltage triangle. These three line voltages being the equilateral triangle, three arms. Then centroid is the neutral. And then the three phase voltages are VL by root 3. But here it is not, because the voltages are not VL by root 3. Then how do I represent? So I show you another file. So I share another file with you. Then you will appreciate the problem. This is another very basic problem in electrical engineering. So I go back here, look at the screen where it is. Here. Good. This is actually downloaded from another, so forget about figure number. So now look at this voltage triangle, right? RYB, this is the equilateral triangle. Then O, this is the neutral of the source, because source is balanced. Therefore, the line voltages are balanced. And this O is at the centroid. But now the three phase voltages, dotted line, they are not same. They are different. And not only magnitude difference, they have phase differences. So we can plot it, and we find that O prime, that is the neutral of the load, that is somewhere here. So then these are the three phase voltages. What has happened here is the neutral has shifted from the centroid of the triangle to somewhere here within the triangle. And this is called, in technical terms, a very important aspect of electrical engineering. It is called neutral shift, because neutral has shifted from O to O prime. So I repeat, for a balanced case, that means the source, O is the neutral, it is at the centroid of the triangle. For the unbalanced case, three voltages as well as their phase angles are different. So I can plot, and this will be O prime, the neutral of the load. So what has happened? The neutral of the source and the neutral of the load is different. And we call it a neutral shift. That means because of the unbalance of the load, the neutral has shifted from the centroid. And this this is a voltage triangle. So we call this plane as a voltage plane. Any length in this plane is a voltage, because you can see all these lengths are voltage. So this O prime is also a voltage. Then what is this voltage? Answer is very simple. This is the voltage difference between O and O prime. So this is called the neutral shift voltage. So VO prime is the neutral shift voltage. Now I ask that another question. I have given you a problem where I showed you that if the three impedances are unbalanced, still neutral current could be zero. So by measuring the neutral current, I cannot say that the load is balanced or unbalanced. But if it is a star connected load, and if it is such an unbalanced thing, this neutral shift, if I can measure, will without any doubt tell me whether it is a balanced or an unbalanced system. Therefore, this neutral shift is one of the most important parameter for our power system. Because please remember, nowadays when we operate, everything is automatic. Gone are those days when I graduated in 1983. You were not born at that time. That time, these digital relays, all this numerical protection was not there. They were all electromagnetic relays. But now everything is automatic. But any automatic system to work properly, you have to have very good measurements so that you can identify any abnormality from the measurements. So this is what is being measured in automatic relays, this O prime. Now, is there any way that I directly can get O prime? Yes, answer is yes. Then how? So I share again the other one. Where is it? Here. Here. So I go to the next topic here. Here you see that my source is balanced, load is unbalanced. So the voltage of the source neutral O and the voltage of the load neutral O prime, they are different. And I am saying that this is, here it is written as V O prime O. That means I am taking the direction from O prime to O. Either way it is possible. That's not a big issue. Now there is a formula here, as you can see, which is what? Directly voltage and admittance. What is admittance? Admittance of the three phases. With this formula, I can directly calculate what is the neutral shift. It is possible. Now you can ask me that how is it possible? Yes, there is a proof. How can we do that? Well, look at here. I am going to apply Kirchhoff's voltage law, considering a loop O, A, O prime, O. Now immediately you will ask me, there is no connection between O prime and O. How can you take it? Who has told you that there is no connection between O prime and O? Is it correct that there is no connection between O prime and O? That is incorrect. Because look here, O prime to C, C to this terminal, then C to O. There is a connection. So there is a connection between O prime to O. So there is a voltage here. So instead of taking all that loop, I am directly saying that there is a voltage between O prime and O. So if I take O, A, O prime, O, there will be three voltages. What are these? One is between O to A. This is the source voltage. Then A to O prime, this is the load phase voltage. So source phase voltage plus load phase voltage here, plus this neutral shift, that has to be zero. Because Kirchhoff's voltage law has to be valid. We cannot violate it. So this is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So what we say is that what is VAO prime? That is VAO minus VO prime O. That is directly minus of this. And AO prime is the phase voltage of the source. So what is IAO prime? IAO prime means AO prime. That is the phase current of the load. Straight away VAO prime into admittance. Here VAO prime into admittance. Then AO prime I substitute as this VAO minus that neutral shift. AO is the source voltage. So you get this. So same thing if you do for all the three phases. And then you apply Kirchhoff's current law at the neutral of the load. So all summation of the three currents has to be zero because Kirchhoff's current law you cannot violate. So the summation of the three current will be zero. So you put these three expressions like here. IAO is this. So IBO prime will be YB into VBO minus this. ICO prime will be YC into VCO minus V neutral shift. So I simply put this and then I do some algebra. You can do it faster than me. So neutral shift is this. So I can calculate this. By the way, whatever I have explained, this is actually one of the network theorems. A very well-known theorem of AC networks. It is called Millman's theorem. So you will hear this theorem name, that Millman's theorem. Please remember that these are not complicated theorems. Sometimes we feel that these are so complicated. No, it is a simple, as I have explained. I can deduce it straight away, that Millman's theorem. So I take a problem. Again, read 30 seconds. Good. Now let me take it. A three-wire, three-phase system of 400 volt. So line voltage is 400. And it's a three-wire system. Always read the problem very carefully. Problem statement. It's a three-wire system. So there is no neutral here. So ZA, ZB, ZC is given. Calculate the phase currents and the phase voltages. Fine. So now this is ZA given, you take YA, that is admittance. ZB, ZC, so YA, YB, YC. Then in this formula, in the denominator we have YA, YB, YC. In the numerator we have the YA into, this is the source voltage, not the load voltage. So first I write the expression for the source voltages with ABC phase sequence. A followed by B followed by C. So A is 0, B is minus 120, C is minus 240. So then I write the numerator and we do the algebra and then we calculate the what is this. Then neutral shift is straight away this divided by that previous one. That means this YA, YB plus YC, this one. So put it there, you get the neutral shift as 135.9 with an angle of 32.15, which means that there is a very big neutral shift here because your phase voltage is 231, whereas your neutral shift is 135.9. Significant neutral shift. And then you can calculate the phase voltages of the load. How? Very simple. That is source phase voltage minus the neutral shift. So source phase voltage minus the neutral shift is the load phase voltage. So you can see the load phase voltage. VAO prime 136 volt, VBO prime 356 volt, VCO prime 263.5 volt. Then if somebody asks what will be the phase currents, very simple. I know the phase voltage of the load divided by the impedance. As good as that, simple, done. So that's how we solve the problem. Look at the results. Once again, another very practical aspect. See, I have an unbalance, right? Because of the impedance. Again, look at the problem. 3 impedances here. ZA, ZB, ZC. So there is an unbalance. And see, and just think that this is your locality. That means the three group of houses in 3 phases have this sort of load, this sort of impedances. What is going to happen is that A phase will have a voltage of 136, whereas B phase will have a voltage of 356 volts. What will happen to your household appliances? If you have a tube light in A phase, it will not glow because the voltage is 136 volt. And if you are in the, unfortunately, you are in the B phase, all your sophisticated equipment will simply burn. Their power supply unit will simply burn. Your very good TV, you will see that white smoke is coming out. So therefore, unbalance can't play havoc on our system, on our equipment, on our so many things. Because 356 is so high a voltage. So that's why our power companies, they always do so many things to keep things, that means the unbalance as low as possible. This is the reason I am showing you the problem. All these problems have been chosen to show you certain practical importance. This is that. Now I come to the combined delta and star load. I have given a problem in the balanced case. And that problem I have solved by converting the delta to star. Now here I have a problem, right? Look at this. I have a delta load and this delta load is given here, right? You can see 8 minus J6, 3 plus J4, and this is 10. Similarly, you have a star and they are in parallel. As I said, that 3 phase in parallel means individual impedances are not in parallel, but they are connected across the same 3 terminals or nodes. Now I have to solve this. What will be the current or power? Now that same question I have to ask, that should I convert the star to delta or should I convert the delta to star? What should I do? So here the answer is very simple. If I convert the delta to star, I get another star. But the question to be answered is whether the star, because I have now 2 star connections, whether the neutral of the 2 star, are they at the same potential? Answer is, if they are all balanced, yes, they will be in the same potential. But if they are unbalanced, they will not be in same potential. And if they are not in same potential, you cannot connect them together. That means the neutral of one star and the neutral of the equivalent star of the delta, if they are not at same potential, you cannot connect the two neutral, and therefore they are not in parallel. So that means if I convert the delta to star, there is every possibility that they are not in parallel. But if I convert the star to delta, then I have another delta. And how the delta will be connected? Of course, between A and B, B and C, and C and A. Their voltages are all same and they are the same nodes. So they are in parallel. Therefore, my suggestion is, whenever in three-phase circuits, you have a problem of star and delta in parallel, always solve the problem by converting the star to delta, not the delta to star. There will be always a possibility of error. But if you convert the star to delta, you will always get the correct result. So this is my practical tips for problem solving. Convert the star to delta and then take the equivalent impedance. So here it is, the star to delta conversion. Here the star is being converted to its delta, and then the every delta impedance is, say for example, A and B. There is one impedance 8 minus J6. Then there will be a parallel impedance which will be coming from the star. And then you calculate what is the equivalent. There is a simple that R1 R2 by R1 plus R2, or Z1 Z2 by Z1 plus Z2. So this is what one is Z2, then this is, you have the Z1, that means the delta impedances. So we calculate Z1 Z2 by Z1 plus Z2 for all the three phases. And I get the three results. Then it is very simple, because then I have a delta. And delta we know how to solve. So we write the three voltages and always assume the phase sequence. That is, if not given, take it A, B, C, or red, yellow, blue as the phase sequence. So these are the three voltages. Then these are the three impedances. Simply calculate the three phase currents of delta by phase voltage by phase impedance. And then line currents are simply IAB minus IC, etc. That I have already explained. And straight away you get the result. So my young friends, this is how we solve what is known as a combined star and delta loads. And I repeat, the tip is that always convert the star to delta, not convert the delta to star. If you convert star to delta, there is always a probability you will get the correct result. If you convert the delta to star, there is every probability that you will get wrong result. Then I will show you another very interesting thing, that now I have a three-phase three-wire system, right? So now I have a three-phase three-wire system and I have a delta. Earlier I said that this line impedance is 0. So this source voltage is equal to the load terminal voltage. That means A prime and A is same. So what I was doing, I was assuming that this line voltage of the source is applied across A and B of the load. And this is a balanced. But who told me that the line impedance is 0? And the answer is nobody told me. I just assumed for simplicity. But if it is a practical case, it is not 0. Line impedance is not 0. It is not high also. So I have taken here a practical value. And line impedance is mostly R plus L. So as you can see, three impedances are same because lines are all of same length, same dimension, so they are same. But the moment it is there, I have a problem in my hand. What is that? Because now three line currents are different. Therefore, the line voltage drops are different. Therefore, A prime and A, B prime and B, they are not at same potential. Therefore, if somebody asks me what is the voltage across this 10 angle 0 degree, that is between A and B of the load, I don't know this voltage. Then how do I solve it? Whatever I have learned earlier, I cannot apply. But yes, I have learned another thing. What? If I convert this delta to star, what happens? Now it is like this. This was the delta. I have converted it to star. Now it is a three-wire star system. Fine. And we know how to solve it. We have already explained just now. Now you see this is the case. What we will do is, I will take this line impedance in series with this and I will just change this value. So I will have three different values. You get my point? Because this is a series circuit. So impedances are added. So what is the total impedance of the phase? 5 angle minus 60 plus this. Then I will say that as if the line has zero impedance and this impedance has been changed. So it is an equivalent representation. Similarly, all these three impedances are changed and I am assuming line impedance to be zero. The moment I assume the line impedance to be zero, then again the same source voltage I can assume across the three terminals. And then I can solve this problem either by applying Millman's theorem or by again converting that star to its equivalent delta. That means first convert this delta to its star, take this equivalent star phase impedance, add the line impedance with it, then you get three impedances, again convert it to delta, and then you have one delta with zero line impedance. Then solve it, you will get the line current. You will get the same result, that is IA, IB, IC. And then after that, once IA is known, I can calculate the phase voltage, IA into 5 angle minus 60. What is the phase voltage of B? IB into 5 angle 60, like that only. So I can find out the three phase voltages. Then if somebody asks what is the neutral shift? Very simple. AO prime, this phase voltage A prime O minus AO. Like that we can find out. So this is how we solve if we have the three-wire star system with line impedance. So that means it can be a three-wire star or it can be three-wire delta. Both I can solve in the same way. Only difference is that if it is three-wire star, straight away we add this impedance to the phase impedance. If it is three-wire delta, first we convert the delta to star and then we add the impedance with the equivalent phase. That's the only difference. And then you can solve it. So any circuit you can solve using this. So now if you recapitulate, you will find that so far now we have solved almost everything for unbalanced. That means we have taken unbalanced delta with zero line impedance. We have taken unbalanced delta with line impedance. We have taken four-wire star without line impedance. We have taken three-wire star without line impedance as well as with line impedance. Only one thing we have not taken. Only one particular case we have not taken. That is four-wire star with neutral impedance. That's the big problem. So neutral, these are all neutral here. So it's a four-wire star. By the way, please remember, if it is a four-wire system, it cannot be delta. It has to be star. Delta is always a three-wire system. So it's a four-wire star with a neutral impedance. And the problem is, in the neutral, we always have a different impedance. Why? Because neutral wire configuration is different from the line wires. First of all, dimension is not same, etc. So this line impedance ZL is same for IA, IB and IC, but it is different for neutral. So we write ZN. So all this is a very now complicated issue because now neutral are of different potential. The two terminals are of different potential. The impedances of the lines are all different in magnitude as well as phase. Then how do I solve it? Well, there is no theorem, nothing. Here you have to go to the very fundamental electrical engineering. That is the basic network theorem. What is that? The very basic Kirchhoff's laws. My dear young friends, actually any problem in electrical engineering you can solve by Kirchhoff's voltage law and current law. If you really understand it, you need not have to go into very high funda theorems. Many, and this is my tips to all of you, in entire life, you remember that engineering problems are mostly solved by very simple things. So I will apply Kirchhoff's voltage law here. So first I will take this loop O, A prime, A, O prime, O. So what is the voltage equation? VO to A prime, then A prime to A is this drop, then A to O prime, and then this IN into this. By the way, the voltage A prime into A is IA into ZL. The voltage A to O prime is IA into ZA. So the same current is flowing through ZL and ZA. But Zn has a different current, neutral current, which is sum of IA, IB plus IC. So I write the new equation here, the loop equation, that Kirchhoff's voltage law. From here, I write an equation for IA, as you can see here, and look at the right hand side. Here I have the source voltage, the three impedances, and the neutral current. Similarly, I write IB. Similarly, I write IC. The three loops you use, and you write the three equations. Then I apply Kirchhoff's current law at this node O prime. That means IA plus IB plus IC is equal to IN. That is the Kirchhoff's current law. So IA plus IB plus IC is equal to IN. Put all the three here. And now you do some algebra. As I said, you do it much better than me. And you will get an expression here for IN. Well, it is a complicated equation, but that can be calculated, because here on the right hand side, nothing is unknown. Voltages are the source voltage, which are balanced. Then all are the impedances. Impedances are known, because if impedances are unknown, we cannot calculate current. So what we solve in this problem, what we do is, whenever we have this sort of problem, for example, here is a problem, you can read it later. ZA is given, that is the load phase impedance, ZB is given, ZC is given. Then ZG is the source impedance, right? This one. ZG is this one, source phase impedance. Then ZL is the line impedance, Zn is the neutral impedance. So all impedances are given. Line voltage is given, phase sequence is given. So you calculate all these parameters of this equation, given these values. Well, it will take a time, but you can do it. And then we put all of that and we calculate the neutral current. The first thing we calculate is the neutral current. And once neutral current is known, after that, it is very simple. Why? Because look at this expression. Here, IA, if somebody tells you what is the line current IA, here it is, I put it here. Because ZA, Zn, etc. are known. VOA is the source voltage. It is known. And IN I have just now calculated. I put it here. IA is known. Same way IB is known. Same way IC will be known. If these are known, if somebody says what is the voltage of the FS, that is AO prime. Very simple. IA I have calculated, the IA into ZA, that is the voltage. What is the B phase voltage? IB into ZB. What is the C phase voltage? IC into ZC. And then if somebody says what is the neutral shift? Yes, IN into Zn. Straight away, right? Isn't it? IN into Zn is the neutral shift. So see, this is how even such a complicated problem we solve simply by applying Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. If we understand these two laws very clearly, I can guarantee you that more than 95% of circuits you will be able to solve. So just apply or be meticulous in application of Kirchhoff's voltage law and current law. I think this is the end of unbalanced one. I will stop here, and if you have any question, now you ask me your question. Any question? Students?